Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty. All right, let's do roll call. Mr. Hoag, I believe, is not going to be here. I saw that. Mr. Braden. Here. Mr. Marty.
Here.
Miss Shandell. Miss Rose. And Mr. John is here. We have Miss Darla, our city manager. Mr. Moore, our planning or our city planner, and Miss Johnson over there who does everything else for us. Let's have a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from last month.
So for that motion, if you approve, signify with aye. All opposed, signify with no. All approved? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Now we need to approve tonight's agenda. Make a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Do we have a second?
A second.
Ready? And let us approve that agenda. If you approve, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Sorry.
He approves.
Yeah.
Sorry. All opposed? None? Okay. We have a spot here for public comments. Those citizens wishing to speak on agenda or non-agenda items will be allowed maximum 4 minutes each to address their concerns. This is the only time during the meeting that you're allowed to address the planning commission. Please state your name and address for the record if you would like at the podium.
Evening, Sue Wolf, 15290 Tisdale Avenue. I have talked to Darla a little bit about the topic of short-term rentals, and I was last here in August, and that was the last time I knew you were talking about it. And my notes just say you were going to wait for the survey. I see it is on your agenda tonight, but I did not get an actual copy of the revised, if it is revised from what I saw last August. And I don't know for sure if you've addressed the couple points or ideas that I threw out to you, one being a single and duplex structure. Also, oh boy, what was the other? I forget that. I had a couple other ones, but anyway, I guess I'll just have to wait and see what you talk about tonight. And then I appreciate you still plugging through this. I know you put a lot of time and effort into it, so I appreciate it. I still believe, and I know I gave you a list of all the good things that can come from short-term rentals. So hopefully you're still gonna pass this and give us the option to do that. Just two other quick things. We have a citywide cleanup on Friday and Saturday. And also we'll be planting bushes and trees and grass and picking rocks and getting everything beautified around the library. So you can come and go as you please. It's Friday from 8 to 4, I think, and Saturday 8 to noon. So we'll have all the tools there. Just bring your little self and there'll be something for everyone. So and a little bit of good news, it looks like we got the paving done there. I think possibly through donation of Vanderhyde, thanks to Rose, who suggested it at our last community building development team. But things are coming along. It's looking really beautiful. So I hope you get up there to see that too. So thank you very much.
Thank you. You would like?
I just kind of want to introduce ourselves. we're the ones applying for the special land use.
Okay.
My name is Brian Ditton. This is Cody Osborne. We're both owners, and Cody is a lead grower also at Green Tree. We just wanted to let you guys know we do have experience in this business. I know the building was used for that at one point. I guess they just couldn't make it work. But I just wanted to let everybody know we've been in business since 2019. We have 2 stores and a grow facility in Reading. So we're just looking forward to be here and getting that opened and, you know, producing something. So
Ask a question. What's the name of the stores that you supply?
Green Tree Relief is the name of our stores. And right now we can't grow enough in our grow right now to supply our stores. So that's really the reason we came up to here to look at this grow. And
Stores?
we have one in Reading, Michigan and one in Coldwater, Michigan. You know, you can go to our website too. It's just Green Tree Relief, and it will show some pictures of our products. I think we still have some in our stores, but we just can't grow enough, and we're looking to expand, which is good in this business for right now, at this day and age.
All right. Is there anyone online, Miss Becca? Alrighty, anyone else? All right, seeing no one else, I will close public comments. Members of the board, is there any conflicts of interest in ex parte communication with anyone? Nope. Okay, seeing none, we will continue on to our scheduled public hearing tonight. We haven't had one of those in a while. So tonight we will be looking at a public hearing for special land use for ODA. And they will be at 13250 White Creek. And they're seeking the special land use for the recreational adult use. I cannot read. Marijuana grower, Class C. It is zoned I-1, and they request the special land use in that district. We have had somebody in that district before, right there. So, who should I turn this over to? You or Mr. Moore?
We have anything to add? I don't. Do you have anything to add, Andy?
No, just real quick, so I think you guys know what property is. This is on the corner of White Creek and 16 Mile. It's a building that was previously used as a adult use marijuana grow facility. So basically the new owner is looking to reestablish that former use. So it's been empty for a bit now. So when somebody comes in and wants to reuse that building, the old special land use expires, so they just simply have to apply for a new one. There isn't a report from us in your packet at this time because we're still waiting on some application materials. We had requested an updated site plan, and which is going to be, I think, pretty much the same as the former site plan that was approved a few years ago, and also a properly dimensioned floor plan of the building that shows what they're proposing to do. There's a sketch that's included in your packet that kind of shows what the approximate layout is. But you know, we wanted you to have a more detailed and scale drawing. So the recommendation at this point is that this would be likely acted on at the next meeting. I think Ms. Falcon has asked the applicant to provide an updated mentioned plan for the building.
Just to get it in front of us.
Yeah.
Let us know it's coming in the next meeting. We'll get more information.
We have to hold the public hearing
So
tonight.
this is a scheduled public hearing tonight,
Right.
but we're not recommending any action. So you can open the public hearing, accept public comment, answer questions, ask questions of the applicant, who I think was the person who just was up here informing you of their plans, and then we'd recommend to take no further action at this time. And the thought is this will be on your agenda for action at the next planning commission meeting.
So good. All right. Mr. Ditton, I'm going to open public comments for your public hearing. Is there anyone online? Anyone here? Okay, so I will close public comments for the hearing. Now, anyone on the board? I know I have a question, but anyone on the board? Okay. So one of my questions, I noticed that you're going to be using carbon dioxide, things like that. Storing them outside. I know I saw on the plan there. How are you storing the gases?
Well, what they usually do is the CO2 company, we get that delivered from an actual gas company and they provide the containers.
Well, what I'm asking, do you have a fenced-in yard that those containers are in, or are they just up against the building?
Right now, like in Reading, we have an outside area fenced in.
Oh, come up to the microphone, please.
Sorry about that.
Yes, I forget.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But we do use them and we do have our area fenced in and Reading. But if that was something that you needed just to keep, I'm not sure, do you want to keep people out of it? Is that what you're?
No, I was just double checking on that because I did not know if you had, so if this is the building and you were using tanks, if you had extra tanks that you had set aside instead of them just sitting there, I'm like, did you have a planned yard to put the tanks in where they are stored properly, chained up, so you can swap them out? Or you just call the company and have them swap it immediately to the building?
Well, they're actually hooked in a series. So the company just hooks that up and they come out, and if the one's empty, then they'll replace it. But we do have it, right now we have like 4 tanks, I think. 4 individual tanks that are, I believe 500 gallons.
Yeah, you're not moving them. They're
They're,
big.
yeah,
They're big. You're not moving
And-
them. Something we'll be doing is installing boulders, concrete boulders to prevent them from being hit. I know that's gonna be a requirement, but
My dad worked at a welding supply shop all my life. So when I think of compressed gases and I think of people possibly moving them, it's like, is there a yard that you have, but you're not moving these. So that's fine. We don't need a yard for that.
where they had CO2 hooked up fat before, it's exactly what they're gonna sit on and.
yes.
Yeah, man, they had it hooked up before, so we're just pretty much plug and play. Again.
I'm just double checking.
Yeah, no, they're big. I can't move one.
I know. All right. Anyone, Mr. Braden? No? Okay. All right, well, I guess that was my question. Anything? Okay. Yes, okay, so,
So,
Yeah.
which is luck of the draw. He should have it done here, I think, just before the next meeting or something within a week or two.
Really, bro.
I gotta get on the phone. Yeah, so.
So if we don't have it in a timely manner, then this is gonna get pushed till July,
Yeah.
because we need time to review it before the meeting and the packet goes out a week ahead of time. So,
I'm sorry, how long would it take you to review a site plan? I asked just because we're not changing a lot. It's almost just a paperwork requirement.
I don't know that it'll take us a super long time, but because because the meeting was moved back a week, we're already only 3 weeks out from the next meeting. And packets are gonna go out on May 27. So if you can get something to us, it'd be by mid to end of next week, that would be
What's the date on that?
Like 20.
I think, I feel like it was I'll check my email, I got my phone off right now, but I think it's the 26th or 27th. He said he'd have it done by.
Doesn't
That's
Yeah,
pushing to the end again.
Yeah, pretty much.
We'll
I'll get on the
try to
phone with
light
him
a
and see if
fire.
I can get some progress made.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get it done as quickly as we can, obviously, but do need some time to make the packets.
All right, thank you.
All righty. So we will table this until next meeting. Or we will table this until as time we have a site plan. Because we don't know if it is next meeting and I don't want to put that on the thing. So, I will make a motion that we table this. Table the special land use for ODA on White Creek until such time that we have more information to provide the special land use. All in favor? Aye. Wait. What's that? Oh, yeah.
I'll second.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself. Do I still need to go back with the count or did you get everybody? Okay, so all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay. There we go. Alright. Next we have a site plan review for, proposed Ash Street site condominiums?
Yes, finally. I think we've heard about this for quite some time now, but finally received all the paperwork from Sand Lake Land Company. Just basically introducing this to you tonight, and we have a public hearing scheduled for the June Planning Commission meeting. Andy put together a real nice outline of the process, and he's already reviewed documents that have been submitted so far, and our city engineer is reviewing documents as well, so for the next meeting, but if you'd like to add anything, Andy?
Sure. So, just to orient everyone, this is on the east end of Ash Street. So they're proposing just I think it's a 7-unit site condominium. It's a little different because it's not like a typical site plan where you have one piece of land and they put one building or one use on it. So in this case, they're basically treating like a little subdivision. So they're dividing it up into 7 different lots that'll each be used for single-family residential homes. It will be extending Ash Street to the east by about 350 feet or so, installing public water and sewer services and hooking up to the city utilities there. Because it's a site condominium, we have a specific process that we have to go through that's dictated by the terms of the site condominium ordinance, which is in your code of ordinances, and that it walks through a fairly straightforward process where the planning commission is required to hold a public hearing, and then you make a recommendation to the city council to approve or not approve the site condominium. Based on our preliminary review of it, it looks fine. I don't really see any issues moving forward, but we do have to follow the process. So process requires this initial introduction, if you will. We will or have scheduled a public hearing for your next meeting, so this will be on your agenda for action at the June meeting, and we will have a report that kind of walks through the standards, but they have to meet the same minimum lot area and width requirements and everything else that's required for that zoning district. I believe it's R1. And the city engineer will review the plans for the street design, water connections, sewer connections, and all that. But I mean, it's 7 new houses, built into fabric of the city. I think is a good.
Miss Darla, I have a question. Is this not gonna be like Junco Court? When he said when I read condos, I thought like Junco Court.
Single-family homes.
Yeah. So
This-
so it's confusing. So there are condos, the way that you traditionally think of condos, like in downtown Grand Rapids, there are condos that are in 30-story buildings, or you can go to Grand Haven and there's condos on the lake or something like that, that are all like attached buildings. But you can also, and what we typically see in rural and in smaller towns aren't condos like that, but they are what they call site condominiums, or they sometimes call them condominium subdivisions. And those, each condominium unit is the land, is like the subdivision lot, if you're thinking of a traditional subdivision. It will look and function exactly the same way as a little residential neighborhood or subdivision will. It's just developed under the Condominium Act because procedurally it's a lot simpler and smoother for people to do that. So it happens quite a bit. There are site condos everywhere. Just don't know it because they just look like regular subdivisions, but they will have their own master deed. They'll have their own little association. They'll have a set of bylaws, and all of that stuff that goes with it. They've submitted that information already. But it's not gonna be condos in the way that you normally think of condos. They're gonna be single family homes. They'll look and function exactly like any old residential subdivision neighborhood kind of thing that you would see. So Ash Street will get extended, cul-de-sac, and there'll be 3 houses on the north and 4 on the south, or vice versa. I don't remember. But that's what we're looking at here. Yep.
Up, cause this whole time I'm thinking, what is it like Junco? Which is, there's just, that's what I think of when I think condos, and I'm like,
This is at the very end of Ash Street.
where they put the new,
I was looking it up
Well-
on my hunting app and there's like, it says the city of Cedar Springs owns that parcel there.
And to the east is our new well.
7-acre plot. Okay, so it's to the west.
Directly west of that is about 3 acres.
Is there like, I haven't been back there. Is there like a path to get to that well house and all that already? Like, okay. Oh, is it? Okay, all right.
right, well, that sounds good. We're going to have, oh gosh, we got in new housing, the tree farm, and then we've got the apartments, and then we'll have, wow, we really are gonna get some houses coming in. That'll be nice.
Explode.
It is exploding, right?
Everybody knows.
The school is already exploding. Oh. I mean, they added on to the high school last year or year before last, and then they're adding on again this year with a new weight room, and they're adding parking lot.
Would've been nice when I was there. New weight room.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. All right. Okay. The next order of business, will be nominations for vice chair. Don't everybody jump up at once. Do I have nominations?
I'll nominate Brandon Fraser. I want to say Fraser, but that's not right. Brandon Marvel. Braden Marvel.
Wait, Brandon, who's Brandon?
Close enough. Jason on it actually.
Know who he is.
They're like, I don't know, just tell me whatever. Anybody else? Now, how do I do this? Because
Did it a little bit, the corporate measure, we to open the floor for nominations. So Powell has nominated Mr. Marvel. The next step would be to ask Mr. Marvel if he accepts the nomination.
okay. Mr. Marvel, do you accept the nomination?
I will accept.
Okay.
Additional nominations.
Are there any additional nominations? Okay, hearing none, we will close the floor for that.
I'll vote for Mr. Braden.
Roll call vote for Mr. Braden here. Ms. Powell?
Yes.
Shandell? Mr. Marty?
Yes.
I will vote yes. So congratulations.
Thanks.
You walk in, you get a new job. You know, I thought about being mean and just voting for Matt. And just wait until he walks in and going, hey, guess what? Yeah. All right. So congratulations. All right. Next is short-term rentals. And we have been doing this for quite a while. Oh my word. Wait. Oh my word. Wait, I can make it bigger. I can read.
Welcome to the new century here, John.
Oh. Why am I so old? Okay. So we are looking at short-term rentals, and I know we were gonna wait, uh, till we had everybody here. But I think we have enough people here tonight to go over it and possibly get this off of our books now because it has been on here for quite a while. So do we want to turn it over to Mr. Moore?
So there are two ordinances in front of you. These are the same two that we've been reviewing. The first one in your packet, starting on page 104, is the zoning ordinance amendment that amends the zoning ordinance to define short-term rentals and then permits them in, the three different districts that we've been talking about. We have not made any changes to that in the last 2 months, so this is still the March version of that. No changes have been proposed, nor are any necessary. The second one, and I think most germane to this discussion, is if we scroll down to page 108 of your packets, we have the short-term rental ordinance, which is Article 6 of Chapter 8 of the Cedar Springs Code of Ordinances. This is substantially similar to the ordinance that we've been looking at and talking about for the last few months. The main thing that we have been focused on before was how we are dealing with penalties, revocations, the part about, having a hearing in front of the city council and all that. So to get to that, and so I think you're familiar with what's in here for the most part. I don't know that we need to go through all of that again. The main part to focus on would be section 8-127 on page 111 of your packet. So subsection A, the city may revoke if during the permit term there have been 2 or more municipal civil infraction determinations concerning the maintenance or condition of the permitted dwelling unit. B, upon a determination by the city manager that a permit is subject to revocation, the city manager may issue a revocation notice to the owner. Must be in writing, stating the basis for it, the date, and subject to the section below, a permit is revoked 30 days following the issuance of that notice. So the 30 days is built in because we're offering an option to appeal. So in subsection C, the owner who has been issued a notice of revocation may appeal the pending revocation to the city council. This is the part that we talked about changing a little bit from before. So before, the revocation was something that the city council would do. This basically delegates that revocation authority to the city manager, but allows for the operator to appeal that to the city council. They can come here and explain, whatever happened and see if the city council is willing to not follow through with the city manager. So there it just says that an owner has been issued a notice, may appeal, must state the basis for the appeal, and must be reserved within 20 days following the issuance of the notice. That gives them almost 3 weeks from the date of issuance to the time where they would have to come into City Hall and file the appeal. And so we have language there. So the city manager's decision to revoke a permit may be reversed by a majority of the total members of the city council. And may only reverse if the city council finds by a preponderance of the evidence that the basis for revocation did not satisfy the requirements of 8-127A. And then, if the city council follows through with that revocation, or if the person just doesn't appeal and the permit stays revoked, they may not apply for another short-term rental for another calendar year. So there's a penalty in addition to any like citations. There's a penalty for being revoked, and that it basically takes you out of the short-term rental market for a period. So that's the most significant change, and I know that was the one that you wanted to get some clarity on and kind of review before you made a final recommendation to the city council. You've been through the rest of the process. You've held a public hearing a while back. And I guess at this point, if there's questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, if you feel both are appropriate, I think it would make sense to have two motions, one for the zoning ordinance amendment and one for the general law ordinance.
Did we settle whether it has to be a single home or if it could be a divided home, like a two-family home or like an apartment?
As dwelling unit, so that was something that initially it said single family dwelling, and so we changed it to just say dwelling unit. So somebody could in theory short-term rent a duplex.
Or fourplex?
Right, but they could only one of those units,
Or building? I think that's what we discussed.
Be issued to an owner.
We have a few fourplexes around.
And so we also have a limit on the number of short-term rentals.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna have, 30 of them in one building because.
It's 5. Okay, that's what I was wondering.
I don't remember. I'm looking now.
2 in one building? Uh-huh.
It looks like you could.
But each one would require its own permit, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also remember, Miss Rose, we're doing 5 right now. This is kind of like a trial period. If it goes well, then we can come back and possibly enlarge the number. But for right now, trial. Yes.
Yep. So. Yeah, the way that it's set up right now is the city attorney was a little iffy on having a number in here. You all wanted to keep it. I kind of liked having it in there too, honestly. So what he did add is under 8-125 subsection D. There's going to be an application window that's established by the city manager. If we do get more than 5 applicants, then there would be some kind of a random drawing.
So, since we already have some short-term rentals, what do we do about that if they don't come in and apply?
Why? Then they wouldn't be able to short-term rent. They would be in violation, and they would have to either unlist their property from Airbnb or come in, fill out the paperwork, and obtain a.
And if we've already have the 5 and these guys say, well, I've been short-terming for 2 years, I intend to keep doing that. Then,
They can permit, so they could apply during that window, and if there's more than 5, fall into this random drawing.
yeah. Is that random drawing in this ordinance? Okay.
Subsection D.
Page 110.
You.
And this is something that, if we know of, I think 2 or 3. And you guys were sensitive to not having, too many of them. So if it turns out in the first year or in the second year, we've got 8 or something, and they're fine, then this could easily be amended by the city council to just increase the number from 5 to 10 or 15 or whatever.
Right, well, Ms. Shandell brought up, good points about, we want to make sure that people are able to have places to live, not just rent for the weekend. So that's why all right, so let's get this off our books. Cause
I really appreciate your guidance on this. It's complicated, and I think it's a good thing for the city.
so do I have anybody that wants to make a motion to approve the zoning?
The first ordinance,
Right, the ordinance to amend chapter 32.
motion to amend chapter 32.
Recommend approval technically.
Recommend approval of ordinance 32,
City council.
32.
Yeah.
Oh.
Make motion your recommendation to council for the zoning, ordinance related.
Okay, I make a motion that we recommend the ordinance 32, the zoning, to the city council. Did I get that right?
Not ordinance number 32. Sorry.
So how do I, just recommending the ordinance
Zoning ordinance.
to the, regarding the short-term rentals, and zoning to the city council. Did I get that? That's a, thank you.
All with all in favor, please signify with aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. Now we can make a motion to pass let me get to it here, my words right. Now we can make a motion to pass the new ordinance, the new short-term rental ordinance, Miss Becca? Short-term regulatory ordinance. Anybody like to try that one?
I'll make a motion to pass the short-term regulatory ordinance.
To the city council.
And to the city council, the adoption of the short-term regulatory ordinance.
All right, I'll make a motion to the city council to
Adopt the regulatory
short-term
ordinance. Okay. Do I have a second? You know what? I'll second that one. All right.
Thank you.
All in favor? Signify with aye. Aye. All opposed? Great. That is off our books. Thank goodness.
Okay,
Oh,
there.
something off. It's been there forever. Okay, next is our master plan.
Yes, master plan.
Starting on page 115 of your packet is a revised master plan. This is something where we are still making some adjustments. So we've received some comments from the city and we're still kind of working through this. So I don't anticipate, or actually don't suggest, any action tonight. We have some changes that were received from the city clerk and the DPW and some other folks. And so we're making sure that we have all of the comments and questions and information added from everyone else, that the city has now had a chance to take a look at this. Obviously, your input is important. You will need to eventually make a recommendation to the city council to distribute this, but that would not occur until your next meeting, probably in July. So at this point, I guess the question is, if you've had a chance to look at this, is there anything in the plan that you have questions about, want us to expand, revise, change, delete, add?
Grammar police. Because this thing was, I was so confused in reading it. Cause like I got to so many spots where there was words out of place or even letters out of place. And I was like, what is this? So is it going to be revised by Google Doc? Okay, good. Okay. Just making sure.
Something in like the version on my computer, the PDF did not come through very well. I have all kinds of weird characters on it too, which is a different issue, but
Implementation strategies, it says, when implemented, S goals and objectives. And then that was like, what is that?
oh, we'll double check all of that for sure.
That's fine. But yeah, there was that. And then of course, there was other things where it was like, that word doesn't go. So I was just making sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would just suggest, yeah, making the revised plan and resending it to us. Cause yeah, I'm in the same boat as Mr. John. Obviously there were some changes made in there and a lot of it was just whited out or deleted and then now it doesn't make too much sense. So, yep.
All right. The next thing on our agenda is correspondence. So the 25 calendar, which is always on there. Upcoming projects. Who is that for?
There's a lot going on, but nothing concrete. Looking forward to the Sand Lake Land Company, plan going through. I don't know why White Creek Flats has stopped. They put the sewer line through and then kinda didn't continue.
They pulled their crew out to go finish a job in Muskegon, I heard. They're on some timeline in Muskegon. They'll be back. There's a huge worker shortage right now. Across the board in all the trades.
Okay. We also saw in our packets the minutes from the joint meeting with Solon Township. That was in there. All right, I think.
Comment on that?
Yeah, you gonna guess?
I know we've talked about the whole sidewalk thing, the ordinances and trying to get things to work together, and I did go through Solon's ordinance book and try to figure, it's so big, and I'm not finding anything on their end for any kind of sidewalk ordinance, so really, I don't know what the best course of action to do, since they're a whole nother municipality, other than one of their meetings and make a suggestion. So,
Darla on 'em.
well, she can only do so much, she can only send so many letters.
Yeah, about the only thing is, having, Miss Darla contact them and, like we said last meeting, contact them but it's not like, that's not at the top of her
No.
agenda right now.
I just want something to come about before next year's meeting,
Right.
Some kind of plan of action, because obviously something needs to happen.
Okay,
So-
yeah, no, that's good thinking. All right.
That the people that built there did put in the sidewalks, even though it wasn't required, they did, and that was a good thing.
Like which one?
Well, the O'Reilly's, I believe that's still Solon, isn't it?
Right, but no, O'Reilly's was required. So was the hotel, the storage unit was required, the hotel, anything new out there is required. if there is development next to it, when we look at their, when we look at their plan, like the hotel, if, you know, the hotel, we say, okay, if there's something that comes in next to you that needs to be connected, you will put in a sidewalk. So the apartments are coming in, now there has to be a sidewalk. Anything new out there, that's what we're doing. And that is a stipulation now.
Is Big Boy the city or? And then next to that is the fireworks place, that's city. And then next to that is the lumber company, that's city. And the credit union, is that,
That came through the city.
there's 4 buildings in sequence out there and no sidewalks.
But those 3 in a row were before we started this, which was this year. Last year we started that where you have to put in sidewalks when, like, you will eventually have to. We weren't around when they did Big Boy or the fireworks or the lumber.
But city council waived those sidewalks temporarily. So they should be putting some sidewalks in there.
I'm a little confused. The lumber company's part of the city.
Mhm.
They have a well.
But they're part of this, I mean, they don't have our water and sewer. They're part of the 425 that would have to follow 425 rules.
Okay.
It's all the way down to in tandem.
Okay.
So when do we take those waves out of effect and say, okay, now we have a consecutive 4 businesses. Now it's time to put in your sidewalks.
Just know is that the lumber company's up for sale. And I know the fireworks store soon. I mean, within any new ownership, maybe, like, I don't know, I'm just throwing an idea out there.
I've objected against waiving sidewalks for 10 years. But, now we don't let that happen. Those sidewalks have to, like you said, they have to go in now. We're not gonna do this waving sidewalks anymore.
City council made a motion to direct staff to notify these places. Oh, you're part of the 425. We want this area to be more walkable, connected. Therefore, the ones that got the wave to install it, you have X number of months to get it installed.
That's why we waived it, to wait for consecutive buildings.
City council waived it, so I think this, if the city council made a motion to that waiver is over.
Was a discussion item at our next meeting.
Sure.
All right, that sounds good. I never thought about having from Big Boy to the bank having a sidewalk there, but yeah, that makes sense.
There's
I
that
mean,
campground next door that people.
well, no, there is, and that makes
Yeah.
sense because then you could walk up. I mean, eat a Big Boy, but
Us on the east side got a waiver.
That's 2 buildings and the corner gas station and Culver's.
This is one over there that has sidewalks would be the Arby's, it looks like. Cause the gas, they're well, maybe that's Arby's. Cause the gas station doesn't have sidewalks, Culver's doesn't have sidewalks. So that, yeah, Arby's does not have sidewalks. The one next to Arby's does. But there's, a whole bunch of them there don't have.
It's time. Can I address the master plan a little bit? We kind of went around it. There's some pictures in there that have nothing to do with Cedar Springs. And
Mhm.
we talked about doing something different with them. It's on 156, 157, and 163. One on that. Hopefully we will have that fixed.
we've been gathering more pictures, so we had some in there now just for stock imagery, but as we've gathered more over the last. few weeks,
Ugly.
we've been getting one, so we'll continue to work on that.
I had hoped, this is just my personal opinion, that Jerry Gross's picture returned to our master plan where he's driving the fire truck. Since he's been, it's in our former master plan picture. Since he's been, such a great citizen of our community all these years.
Find and add it in there if I can get a copy of it.
This weekend of the cleanup, when they're planting trees and stuff, that would probably look good. I mean,
There's
yeah.
leaves on the trees, it's a great time to take some pictures. So if you're out and about, do the same thing, and if and when we come up here in the next couple of weeks, we'll do the same.
That's all I had to say about, otherwise, I think it went together well.
All right, we are to staff comments. Miss Darla?
Small conversation Andy and I were having before the meeting tonight. We have interest in the city property, this building and the building next. Once we move to our new city hall, how we can split. Cause right now it's all one parcel. The two buildings and the parking lot is all one parcel. I'm in favor of leaving the parking lot out of a sale. It would remain city public parking. The parking lot behind us, we would plow it and maintain it. And then, I gotta figure out how to divide the two buildings into separate lots. I'll work with the assessor on that. Cause I'm getting interest from separate parties to buy separately, so I gotta get a value on that from an appraiser. And then we can see what kind of interest is out there.
So if we keep the parking lot as a city, then, but they still have to use the parking lot, right? Because there is no parking other than that. Right?
To the public, they can park on the street. There's sides, parking on the side. I'm not opposed to, reserving two parking spaces in the parking lot, like a lease or what is it, an easement
Yeah.
for parking for business owners.
Is because you say, okay, but we're not gonna sell you the parking lot, but yet there is no parking, and that's two businesses. Where do they park?
What some communities do is when they have, when the city owns parking downtown and there's a business like that that does not have any, the city will lease them a couple of spots. And so they'll work out some arrangement either as part of the sale or whatever that says, hey, we need 4 parking spots for our employees or our customers or whatever. And then as part of that sale, the city can just enter into a short-term or long-term lease with them for however many spots they want, how many the city is willing to part with. Then from a zoning perspective, we looked at parking a couple years ago and we tried to make that ordinance pretty flexible so that we're not always butting up against hard minimum parking standards for all of the, especially the ones downtown that had the ability to utilize on-street parking or off-street parking in public lots. So that's less of a concern. But I think there are ways that the city can tackle that problem, but it's really going to depend on what the potential buyer says and
What they
might
need.
say, I need 1 spot, I don't care, I'll just park on the street. Or they might say, nope, I need 5, and then the city can negotiate with the lease terms, and those seem like solvable.
Right.
All right, any other questions, comments from?
I've got a lot going on. I'm heading out of town here in a couple days for a vacation with my family, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Good. Leave your phone at home. All right, any comments from the clerk?
Myself and April will be at a clerks conference in June, so.
right, any comments from the planning, commission members?
Glad to see the short-term rental is on its way, and I think it's a good step for our city, and family will occasionally be using some of those spots as they come to town, and we can get together and
Camper in the backyard.
I didn't want them to stay with me.
Camper with a cat.
But anyway, I'm very happy about how we worked with that and worked with the people and the ordinances, and about all I have to say. Thank you, everybody.
Right, anyone else? Okay, report from the city council representative.
We'll see what happens with short-term rentals. Talk about sidewalks too, so yeah,
Okay.
I think that'd be a great, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, when is, I know that periodically, like every other year, when are the, that you've done sidewalks before? And per grant or something that you were,
We secured 2 CDBG grants, but to apply for CDBG money again, to score full points for that section, we need to wait 5 years. We could apply. If there's money left, we could be awarded. I wasn't planning on applying, so that was 22-23 fiscal year. We're a ways out for another grant for sidewalks.
Can businesses apply for those grants?
CDBG money.
Okay. Report of the planning consultant.
I have nothing further.
Okay, if there is nothing further, then I will adjourn us at 7:57 PM. Thank you all for coming.